here at Tropical Nomad. So very excited today, very excited because what we've been doing is that we've always been improving, right? We've always been reaching a wider audience, and so what this is part of tonight is it's part of this ongoing initiative that we're basically calling, all right, so we're calling it the Indonesia Destination Indonesia Series, right?
That's
so
a cool name.
There you go. You like the name, though? I like the name too. So what is it about? What it's about is that, so we're here, I'm obviously a foreigner here in Bali, but like me, there are many of you watching here on either Instagram, Facebook, or other ways who love it here in Bali, right? And not that we're trying to convince our friends who are overseas, we don't need to do that, but we are passionate about it, and what this whole idea is it's about showcasing some wonderful, incredible people who are from Indonesia, who are doing some incredible work, which is bridging the gap, which is bringing expats and locals much closer together, right? And that's what the initiative of Destination Indonesia series is all about, all right? So let's get straight into it. As you know, every Monday, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. here at Tropical Nomad. Now, I'm going to introduce my guest in a minute, Mr. Wahyu, and how to pronounce your surname?
Taufiq.
Taufiq.
Yeah.
Taufiq, wonderful. So look, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you for accepting. So look, let's just jump straight in. So you've obviously done a great deal. We might talk about the digital nomad visa, that you're one of the main people to put this through Parliament, and it's probably still sitting there at the moment. And there's so many more things that you're doing as well, as I mentioned before, to bridge the gap
Exactly, yeah.
between expats and locals, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And you're I see you as being incredibly dynamic. I know you're building about eight different companies at the same time, right? You're like me. I can't focus on one thing for too long. I've just got to do 8 of those things and get them all done incredibly well. So then, knowing this, where did this love, this ability, this passion to want to bridge the divide between expats and locals come from? Where do you think it came from?
You mean like my personal value, why I believe in this? Yeah. Okay. So basically, since I was kid, I was born in Bali, and since I was kid, I have been exposed to tourism. Before, the tourism hotspot was Kuta, and then Seminyak, and then Batu Belik, and then Canggu, and then goes on and on. And I always like the dynamic that Bali has, where everyone is welcome here. And I had a dream that one day I would be able to travel, and I would be able to speak English and have friends from all over the world and learn a lot of things from them. So since then, I have traveled to 27 countries. And as being Indonesian with Indonesian passport, it's not that easy. So maybe for you guys, 27 countries are that's small, but for me it's a big, a big thing.
I'm not sure I've been to 27. I've been to a few, but I don't think I've been to 27. There's a few people here who I know have been traveling around a bit. I'm not sure if even they've been to 27. Far out.
And all this travel, I don't think that all the travels I paid it myself. I got invited to join some seminars. For example, my first time in Europe was actually because of World Economic Forum. So I got invited by World Economic Forum as Global Shapers, one of the Global Shapers. So Global Shapers is a youth organization funded by World Economic Forum to create impact, started by the youth. And I have been Global Shaper since 2016. So my first trip to Europe was actually funded by WEF, so thanks to WEF. And then since then I explore more, and the rest is history. So I travel, it's mostly because of the seminars, workshops, and for the last 3 years it was my personal trip.
Wow. And look, so just take us back a bit, right? So because a lot of people watching don't necessarily know what living in Bali or being born in Bali, the lifestyle in Bali. I think people know about the lifestyle in Bali, but they don't know, as a local, right? What life is like growing up. So if you could maybe touch upon what was life like growing up for you through the filter, perhaps, of understanding that I'm a foreigner, so I don't necessarily know anything. So if you can take us through from that perspective, that would be great, of whatever comes up for you.
Okay. So growing up in Bali is actually a blessing, a unique experience. But my personal experience, I was born in Bali, but I spent many years in different part of Indonesia. Like since I was 10 years old, my parents sent me to Yogyakarta, to study in boarding school, and then I studied like 3 or 4 years in Malang, East Java. So I have like mixed views on cultural things, because when I come back to Bali, I feel like I don't like 100% belong to Bali, but I don't feel also 100% belong to Java. But most of my friends in Bali, they're like international friends, so it's kind of like I have been used to this kind of cultural exchange and cultural adjustment. So growing up in Bali, when I didn't speak English, of course my view was very narrow, meaning that I didn't learn much from foreigners' perspective because I didn't speak the language. But as soon as I speak English, I make friends with many foreigners. That's changed my view to the world, basically.
And then, so from a religious perspective, if you don't mind me asking, so Indonesia as a whole, with was it 370 million people, is majoritively Muslim.
Exactly, yeah.
And then Bali is quite unique because there's something like 4 or 5 different religions that not only coexist, actually, they really respect one another. They've got their own holidays on the calendar, and each one is really respected. I mean, when we had a business here, I remember a cafe, it was very difficult for us because, sunset would go on holiday during that time, another would do this time. But what I loved was just like how one island could really embrace all of these different faiths, which are, some of them are very different, they're diametrically opposed, some of them, but it just seems to work really, really well, and there's compassion for each one, and I think that's part of what makes it a very energetically aligned and spiritual place. But so for you, like growing up, so was it any particular religion that was in your household, and if so, what was it, and how did that influence you growing up?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. So Indonesia, in fact, many people may think that the biggest Muslim country or Muslim majority country, mostly people think about Middle East, but it's actually Indonesia. Almost 90% of our population, they are Muslim. So my family background is also Muslim. So I'm from a Muslim background family, and that's why this is the unique thing about our country. So this is what I really value so much. After I traveled to 27 countries, this is one of the things that I really value about my country. So Indonesian people in general, we are accepting people. If you look at the history, all the religions coming to this country, or this archipelago islands, we call it Nusantara. Before Indonesia was formed, this area like Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia, these areas were called Nusantara. So we are by nature accepting people, and all these religions coming to this country or this part of the world through trade, aka through business interaction. Like, you're from, let's say you're from China and you bring your culture, or you're from Arabic world and you bring your culture, you're from India, you bring your culture. That makes us want to learn more about you. So for example, how Islam can be like a dominant religion here, it's actually not coming from the Arab world only. Many Muslims coming from India, for example. The Indian traders bring the Muslim culture, the Indian Muslims bring their Muslim culture to here. They also bring the Hindu culture here. So it's like a mix of the cultures. Also the Muslim from China. So it's not like only Middle Eastern Muslims, but Muslim from China, Muslim from India, and Muslim from the Arab world, even Turks when at the time of the Ottoman Empire still existed way back then. So this is just to know, just to tell the background how this country, even though it's a Muslim majority country, but still accept different religions. And we have the motto Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means that unity in diversity. And yeah.
By the way, I get goosebumps. Was unity in diversity. So it was at Cabon vintage markets. Everyone should go there. Cabon vintage car markets every Sunday. It's amazing, and they've got the actual like the bird, the winged bird, and that's the motive underneath. Unity and diversity. I think that's incredible, man. Oh, I love that. Oh.
And all the holy days of any religion in this country is made as national holiday. So if you're Muslim, you have Idul Fitri, Idul Adha. It's a national holiday. So it's a national calendar holiday. If you're Hindu, you have Nyepi and the other holidays like Galungan, Kuningan. If you're Christians, you have Natal. We call it Natal, but you guys call it Christmas. Buddhists, you have Waisak. So all these religions are officially recognized to have their holiday, and it is made as national holiday.
That's so cool. Yeah. And so then going back to you now, so your household, how many siblings, brothers, sisters have you got?
I have one younger sister, one older sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So right in the middle.
Yeah, I'm right in the middle. And the only boy.
The only boy in the family, love it. And then so your parents, right? So your mum and dad now. 27 countries. It doesn't happen by accident. So how were you brought up in the sense of, you know, like to me that is very unique, right? It's amazing, but it's very unique. And so what ideologies do your parents have in terms of life, how to bring up children? And start with your mum, and then go to your dad.
Okay, my mom is very entrepreneurial actually. I learned the spirit of entrepreneur from my mom. So my mom was a teacher, counseling teacher. So she handled like troubled students. So she's not like teaching subjects, but she's like a counselor. You know, if you have a problem with your family back home, or she would ask her students why yesterday you didn't come to the class, like all these things. So with that background, from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. She was a teacher, but from 3 a.m. in the morning to 6:30, she was running her own shops, and then after 2 p.m. where she finished her teaching job, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. She was back again running the shop. She used to have, like, if I'm not mistaken, dozens of shops, like I guess like 20 something. But after Bali bombing, our family went bankrupt.
So much in this. So guys, for you watching at home, you know, I've met Wahyu. I love his energy, and you can see why. But I knew none of this about him, and part of this is about me getting to know him as well. So we're getting to know him at the same time. So I knew none of this. Far out. So many things come up. But before I ask any more questions, so what was your father like?
My father like. My father was running small business, but in terms of the entrepreneurial skill and spirit, my mother has way. If I would be frankly speaking, my mother like has way better than my father. Sorry, father, but I'm just telling the truth. So, yeah, that's just how my mother inspired me a lot, and that's why I did multiple things. So I finished 4 different degrees. I finished
4 different degrees.
Yeah.
All right. Just put the microphone up to your mouth.
Sorry.
You're good. So 4 degrees. What were they?
So computer science, communication, design, visual communication, or you can translate it as a graphic design and multimedia, and English literature, communication and political science. Now I'm trying to finish my law degree. So I got this spirit from my mother, because my mother also she studied while being a teacher while running her own business.
That's amazing. All right, lots of questions coming in. Yeah. So let's take it a little bit further back. So you mentioned before that, that there was a bankruptcy that happened. So how did that affect your parents then, and how did it affect you?
It's a long story, but maybe I.
The things that come up as the first or the main points.
Yeah, obviously, our life standard was destroyed, and it affects my parents' dynamic in the family. Also, basically, we sold everything. We moved into a small house, and it was not nice family life experience because it influenced the dynamic, right? The relationship between my father and my mother, their relationship with me, and so on and so on. So, but luckily, my mother was very, again, I praise her as resilient and smart. She saved her most of her earnings, like in a savings, for the education of her kids. So all my sister, myself, and my younger sister, after the age of 10, they sent us to Jogja to study in a boarding school because they want the best quality of education for their kids. For her kids. So with this being said, that Jogja has been known as education city in Indonesia. So if she wants, she can put me in her school because she's teacher. And actually, she was teaching in one of the Bali's favorite schools for high school. But she didn't do that because she believed that I deserve better than what she thought in this island as a better school. Yeah.
I'm so impressed by you. I was impressed by you before we even spoke about it because your energy is like that. It's dynamic. It's happening. You're clever. You're smart. You care, and I get that just from your body language and how you speak and how you interact with people, right? But I'm getting massive downloads because part of what we go through on SpeakuP Monday is just understanding that between 0 and 7, we go through this theta brainwave state. This is where we're becoming we're becoming molded into the people that we're going to become. And then our RAS, part of our brain, which is filtering mechanism that draws in the experiences that basically go hand in hand with those formative experiences that we had to kind of lock us in for life on this rail, this train track of subconscious going in that direction, right? And we're subconscious, where we don't know about it, right? And then, but it's interesting. So either we're programmed in that way, or we kind of revolt against the programming and try and do something else. But what I'm getting, coming full circle, is that obviously your mum, incredible, right? Entrepreneurial, resilience, working a gazillion jobs. Like most teachers that I know are poor. I don't mean that to look down upon teachers or to not say what they don't do is valuable, because for me, they're one of the most valuable species on the planet, a teacher, right? It's the most valuable thing. But for her to be so entrepreneurial, right, and so resilient, and then being so decisive in making sure your kids had education, right, and going through all of those experiences, I see a lot of you, obviously, and you do too, in your mum, and the fact that, she cared for the bad boys and girls. I love that because that's who I was growing up, right? And but this gives us a really big, strong worldview that's very inclusive, right? So part of the question I asked you in the beginning was, how is it this is important to you to bridge the divide, to bridge the gap, between expats and locals, and putting it in that language. I really get an understanding, an impression of how that happened and why that happened, and a lot of it is based around your mum and how she brought you up and how she sees the world, and just gave you like that unique experience, of saying, look, this is our life, this is who we are, this is what I'm doing, and this is why I'm doing it, and you're going to go to Jogja, which I've been told is an incredibly creative city in general in the whole of Indonesia, and you're having this. So how did the 27 countries come along? How did that happen?
Okay. Well, after my family went bankrupt, life was tough, right? Life was turning down, and I like to dream. I like to have like imagination. My brain is always imaginative. Like I like to think about stuff. Like when I was kid, I like to be like superhero, and I imagine myself to be like Power Rangers or Ultraman, saving the world, and stuff like that. So I use my imagination to think about. I know that now I don't have money, but one day I would like to travel the world, no matter how. Even if I don't speak English now, but I will speak English one day. So after I start speaking English, again I told you earlier that it changed my view because I speak the language of international people, right? So my circle has developed from only inner circle to be also like external circle. Like I expand my network, my friendship and things like that. And I learn about like how to travel in a cheap way, like using couch surfing, doing volunteering, and actually one of the best things that worked for me is being active in organization. So since I was in a secondary school, I was very active in organization. Like when I was in boarding school that I told you where my parents sent me when I was 10 or 11 years old. On 12 or 13 years old, I was appointed as the chief of what you call it in English, like the head of community of people coming from Bali and Lombok, because my boarding school is very mixed, but very nationally mixed. So people coming from all over Indonesia was studying there, and I was the only one from Bali at that time. So Bali, Lombok, they are like one cluster. So I was leading this organization for these two regions. And since then, I developed my organizational skills, and that gave me a lot of impact how the way I run company or business, basically. It's all about managing people. It's all about understanding people.
And so for you, like, what is, if I asked you, right, so there's a bunch of things we have. Maybe it's values, maybe it's skills. If I said to you or asked you, which three, whichever come in your mind, and why, which three values, skills, or gifts have shaped your life?
People skill. People skill. I think dealing with robot, dealing with computer, I used to code like hours and hours in front of computer. You can always find solution if you Google, or if you will have always fixed formula. Right, but dealing with people, it's very dynamic, and there is no fixed formula because we consist of our we are shaped by our past, our upbringing, our trauma, and our intelligence, and all these things. And to understand one person using your formula may not be the same if you try to understand different person, and you want to implement the same formula. It may not work with this another person. So to be able to be in the middle, or to be able to be understanding about people in general and how to actually solve the conflicts and solve the problems, this is what my most valuable skill that I have learned, and I am still learning actually. So, being again because of the organization experience, and from that organizational experience also led me to travel the world, and that led me also to work in different companies, from fintech, digital companies. I started my own companies, hospitality, and I sold it to a Singaporean company, and I started other companies, and I started my foundation as well. It's because my care about understanding about people.
Got it. And so you mentioned before about trauma, right? So again, if I ask you whatever comes in your mind, right? So which, if any, which trauma was the most defining for you, and how has it helped you in your life now?
Okay, obviously when we had tough situation in our family, my relationship with my dad was not so good, and I tried not to be emotional, but since then I try to learn about loving unconditionally and forgiving unconditionally. So I forgive my dad. I forgive whoever that does wrong to me. I I have a mentor, right? This is what I learned a lot and fast, because in life and in business I have a mentor, and different mentors that I learn from, they have different expertise. So for example, in life, psychology and business, I have specific mentor that I learn from. So once my mentor said that, don't hold your burden. The burden means that all your revenge or your anger or all your hate about your past life or about your family or about your friends, business partners, whoever, don't hold it inside you, because it's gonna make your path difficult. So let it go, uplift those burdens. By what? By forgiving them. Even, let's say, if they rip you off, or if they did bad to you, and you lost contact with them. If you remember about all the bad things about all those people have done to you, just pray for them. Pray what's the best for them. Pray what's the best for you. Forgive them, and you go on with your life.
I love that, man, and it's been a personal experience. So, as I told you before, so I grew up in two children's homes from 6 months of age to 18, so 18 years in London, and my dad wasn't around, and my mum used to visit, but my dad wasn't really around. So I'm 51 now, and about 10, 15 years ago, I met my dad again through a really interesting bunch of a chain reaction of events, and but here's the thing. So I had done maybe what I would call so much work, or managed to let go of a lot of things, right? As you said about forgiveness. And I was able to truly forgive him and myself for what had transpired. And the phone call which I had with him before I met him was incredible, because, it was the first time we had spoken in years, decades, right? And the first thing I said was, listen, Dad, I just want you to know that you have nothing to feel guilty of, to feel embarrassed of, or to feel that you did the wrong thing by me, because you know what? I've turned out amazingly well. I'm my own person. I've got my own thoughts. I've got my own life. I'm independent and interdependent, have a great relationship. And I rattled a few things off, but I was just able to forgive him, right? And I felt the energy of that phone just whoosh,
Yes.
and I felt like I can even hear in his voice like like this exhale, right?
Yeah.
And it's such a powerful place to stand, and to be able to create that container for someone who's super close to you. And he just felt like, whoa. And ever since then, we've had the best relationship ever, because I honestly hold nothing against him. And when I actually look at his life, he grew up in Jamaica. By the age of 6, he never saw his dad again. 7 years working in the field, supporting his family in Jamaica, working on plantations at 7. What the fuck? Then he made enough money to then get himself to London. And he went through so much. Once I understood his life between 0 and 7, I knew, how could this guy be any other way than that?
Yes.
So I was like, if I hold anything against him, I'm the guy who's mistaken, not him.
Yes.
Because with what he went through, there was nothing else he could have become, But on that, is there anything that you feel that you need to forgive yourself for?
Yeah. I try to forgive myself about my failures in the past, academic failures, failures in understanding my own family in a deeper way, failures not really being close to my sisters, failures not really planning about my future when I was when I was still teenager. All these failures, I have to accept and forgive myself, and I forgive people around me, and I try to fix things to be in a better shape, and just to to have this relief feeling, like you don't hold any hatred, any revenge, any something that is unfinished. I like to finish things. So in order to finish things of our past, if we cannot go back to the past, then forgive our past. It means you are finishing your past. See what I mean? So if we still think, oh, why I didn't do that, why I didn't study this, why I didn't go to this college, why I didn't migrate to this country, now I'm already too old, blah blah blah. It's gonna be your obstacles in the path of your way of creating success or of creating your better future. So if you forgive and accept the reality that you have been through and make the best out of it, your life will transform incredibly.
So a few more questions on this, and then we'll move forward into business. So if I asked you now, where you are right now, do you love yourself? What would you say?
I think to love myself, it means that I should take care of myself mentally and also physically, which I'm not that. I'm not. I would say I didn't do it. I haven't done my best yet to do that. But spiritually, mentally, I think I have tried my best. Like physically, maybe I don't go to the gym very often. You see me quite skinny, right? Skinny guy, because all the foods that go to to my body mostly go to my brain, or because I study a lot, I work a lot, or my mental condition, because like being entrepreneur is not easy, right? I have got like in the past couple of lawsuit threat. It's not even because of my fault, but it's long story. But anyway, if you are in that position, you have to be mentally prepared. And also one of my company went bankrupt, and I got like big loan or big debt 2017, yeah. But I solve all those things, I finish all those things, and it's just become my history now. So in order to be able to finish that, you have to have a strong mental, right? So you have to work on your inside first before you work on your outside. So yeah, I back again to your question, where to love myself. I think to love myself is all about being spiritually, mentally, and physically prepared, and to find happiness starting from your within first, before you expect the happiness comes from the external person, like from your girlfriend or from your partner or from your parents. All this happiness, it should start from within first. Yeah.
Thank you. And something that comes up for me with this is that I don't remember who it came from actually, but some years ago, and reminded some months ago as well, this thing about, do I love myself, is almost based around, as you mentioned, what are my parameters of love? Like, so if I do this, does this mean I love myself? If I have this, does this mean that I love myself? So we set up this set of things, and if I do these things, then I love myself. So what I kind of realized was, like, what is my definition of it? So for example, if my definition of, I love myself so long as, I never give up. So no matter where I am, if at the end of that day I know that I've given the best that I could, then that is a checkpoint for me to say yes. I'm proud of myself, I love myself, right? And the kind of then breaking it down like that, almost it comes into like success and failure for a lot of people, right? So like success, my definition of success is basically that whatever I'm doing, I give it everything that I've got. And whatever happens in the outside world is irrelevant, because I'm mastery, right? I believe in mastery, which is about the pursuit of getting better. Yes. And that may be that sometimes I get worse temporarily, but I keep on going, right? So when I base it on like that, then I'm able to create a situation which always supports me. You know,
Yeah.
and my definition of failure is one where, for example, failure for me is where I've literally I've given up completely, and it's not about surrender now. This is different. So failure is where I've just literally I've given up. You know, I've given up on myself. And I've got a few things in there. If this is where I am, then that's the definition of failure for me. So, like, just for example, you know, this just comes up for me.
Yeah.
Not sure where it's going, but I just want to share it with you, right? Because I find it very, very powerful to define what these things are, because often they go undefined, and then we have this feeling of what the outside world portrays to us as success.
Yes.
And what the outside world portrays to us as what failure is, which is just what you mentioned a little while ago, which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm aligned with you, man. I mean, like, I believe also to love myself is to know my purpose in life. And if, as long as I'm working on my purpose in life, my vision before I die, if when I die, I feel fulfilled. You know, this is the way I love myself. So to love myself is to know what is my purpose in this world. And then when I know, work on it. And when you work on it, whether you fail, you succeeded, or you achieve it, you have done your best to fulfill your vision in life. Right? So that's the way I love myself.
Got it. And then, so last question, and we'll move on. So if I asked you what your purpose is currently, what would that be?
My purpose is to create better generation. That's why I started my foundation focusing on youth empowerment and education. That's why one of my company is in edutech. So we're building a startup in education technology. That's why I also active in. I'm very active in different youth organization like this WEF organization, which is Global Shaper. So I think that is my call. Because as someone coming from what's so-called third world country or developing country, I got a lot of underestimated, disrespected, even when I travel. Even when I want to study. My visa was rejected 2012 just because I want to study in Australia. I got like offer letter and all these things, but still my visa was rejected. So from all these rejections, instead of complaining and whining, what can I do from where my situation is currently? So start from what I can with what I have.
And then just quickly, so how does that make you feel? Each time maybe you're disrespected, some people might call it racism, some people might give it a different label, but how does that feel to you, and where do you sit with it?
Yeah.
So in other words, how does it feel, and what do you do next?
It's feel frustrated. I mean, like, maybe not all people can feel this thing, because like if you come from a country that has like strong passport and strong currency, you don't understand the pain, right? But to me, I understand it very well. For example, I was detained in Hong Kong. I was about to fly to Istanbul, and they questioned me for 3 hours. They asked me, why do you travel here? Where did you stay in Hong Kong? How much money you have? Do you have credit card? All these humiliating questions. And because I know that in Hong Kong, for example, there are many Indonesian domestic workers. So I want to change that perspective of my country. So I wanna change that perspective of, oh, Indonesia is only exporting domestic workers, to be, oh, Indonesia is exporting talents or businesses or investors. So that's that kind of narrative I want to change, you know. But it's long way to go, but someone gotta start the work.
Man, I'm getting goosebumps, man. Far out. That is beautiful, brother.
That's why when I sold my business, I didn't think about starting a new company immediately. What I did immediately was to start my foundation. So I started my non-profit organization immediately after I come back from Hong Kong.
Like I'm running out of words to describe how I feel about you, but I'm so impressed by you. And now I'm getting to know why, because I felt this in your energy for a long time, and now I'm really getting to and as everybody else is really getting to understand what's underneath the bonnet, and that's the whole point of what SpeakuP Monday is. It's about getting under the bonnet of people which are up to something in life, by way which we can in turn become inspired, right? To in whichever way, because one person inspires another. So people inspire people, and that's what this whole program is about. So, wow. So then coming forward in towards your business life now. So now you mentioned about the foundation. So can you tell us a little bit about the foundation? And as you mentioned before, it came off the back of, wanting, Indonesia to be recognized in the world for something else, for what Indonesia truly is, an amazing population of people who are incredible learners and are incredibly astute, at developing business ideas, and have this amazing ability to be able to manage people, to read people, to be accepting of other religions and cultures, which is a key to growth. So let's get back to the foundation and why it was created and what it's doing.
So our legal name, it's called Yayasan Pengembangan Pemuda Mandiri, which means, if you wanna freely translate it into English, is Developing Independent Youth Foundation. So why the word independent? I think we need more youth to be financially independent and thinking independently, and also innovate independently. So independent word means quite wide, I think, in this definition, in this context. So I felt like what was holding me back, because I wasn't financially independent way back then, because of our family situation, and I wasn't born in a first world country, or the if I could keep blaming all the things that I didn't have, there is always a list to do that, right? But instead of blaming and whining and complaining, I changed my mindset. What can I do from where I am now? So when I was getting that humiliating questions in Hong Kong, when I was on the airplane, I was thinking, what can I do to change this status quo, or to change this mindset of the international people looking at my people, So the basic foundation of this is education. So I want to start a non-profit organization that focuses on education, and who's gonna be in this journey? Who's gonna be in this context of people getting the education? I think the fresh mind is better one. So which is the youth? Because the youth is the next generation, right? And then Indonesia now has what it's called demographic bonus. So more than I think almost 70% our whole population is under productive age. That's why if you look at the startup scene, we have the most unicorn and the first decacorn in Southeast Asia, which is Gojek. And now the founder of Gojek is our Minister of Education, Nadim. So he himself, the role model of our young people, founding a multi-billions startup valued as a decacorn, first decacorn in Southeast Asia, now is our Minister of Education. So now there's a hope. So this kind of things, I would like to be the supporting system of what can we do collectively as a nation to develop our youth. And then once our youth are developed, the next generation of our leadership will be better. And if we have a better leadership, we will have a better country. So that's a long-term thinking anyway.
Mate, I love the way you think, man. We've got quite a lot in common. I love that. God damn. And we had Mikey, the co-founder of Gojek, on the show. We're going to get him back. He doesn't know it yet. I guess now he does. Oh, sorry, Mikey. Let's find it this way. Far out. Oh, I just want to let that sit. Far out. That story about Indonesia, about Nadim, the founder of Gojek. Because I had a few friends in Australia, who have a certain view about Bali. They look at what media is pushing, which is stupid, because as we know, media pushes its own agenda. Exactly. Right? Let's be straightforward about that.
Yes.
But the minute I tell them, I say, hey, you know Gojek, right? And they're like, yeah, it's a bit like this. Oh, yeah. Did you realize, that the founder of that company is now the Minister for Education for the country? They're like, oh. And then they get what I get, which is what you just told us in a beautiful way, which is like, like any country that has a view like that is a country that's going places, and then knowing about the percentage of the population underneath productive age is crazy. I mean, I was looking at a report the other day. It was McKinsey, one of these companies, was saying, thinking in 2030? I think 2040, 2050, one of the top 3 economies in the world will be in Indonesia, and so yeah, I'm getting more understanding of why that's the case. Brilliant. So let's travel a bit deeper into business. So from what it sounds like to me, this overarching purpose of yours, right, about uplifting the next generation in Indonesia to be proud, to be seen for the magnificence of what it is a huge driver. The fact you've set up the foundation first. But now the other businesses that you've been setting up, that you've been doing, whichever ones come to mind, let us know a little bit more about those and what their purpose is.
Okay, so I have I do several things. I do different businesses, but if I would like to categorize them, I would like to categorize my short-term business, mid-term business, and long-term business. So for all the startup things, like the edutech platform that we're building, it's like for long-term. And for mid-term, for example, what I'm trying to do now is in real estate. I'm trying to be into real estate business with a couple of partners from Jakarta. This is like for my mid-term. And for short-term, we have services. So my main domain skill is actually in IT, because as soon as I finished my computer science degree or diploma at that time, 2015, I started my first digital agency called DigiCraft, where we do web development, digital marketing strategy, and all this digital branding wise for the companies. And since then, I developed other businesses. Like I started a hostel targeting digital nomads back 2017 called Bali Nomad House, and I sold it to Tribe Theory, which is now what's called Draper Startup House. And I also I used to work as a digital strategist at a fintech company called BerryPay for about a year, and all this experience shaped me to be who I am today. I'm dealing with a lot of legal things. I got this lawsuit threat, so that's why I had to learn about all the legal stuff. You know, 2 types of people that I do not want to deal with in my life: police and lawyer. Now I'm trying to be lawyer myself. So like before, I didn't want to deal with all this thing, legal, police stuff. I did not want to deal with them. But right now, my friends are lawyers, head of police officer from Denpasar. Like, this is like the opposite thing that I used to hate. You know, yeah. So I become, I would say, my knowledge, my connection, my network, my business start developing, especially in terms of legal stuff, and I got hired by government agency to do some consulting, and also I got hired by a couple of individuals and companies, international companies, to give them strategy in terms of what is the best strategy to do investment in Indonesia. So now I'm starting to master this legal business, legal business matters in Indonesia, and how to optimize the strategy if you are looking to invest in Indonesia in any sector, startup, mining, construction, real estate, and all this stuff. Yeah.
Well, so guys, we're going to have some questions soon. So if you have any questions in your mind, just think about what that would look like, and then if we don't have a microphone for you, just call the question out. Then I'll repeat the question, so everyone else at home and watching on these different cameras can then see. or here, should I say, and then we'll get into answer the question. But before we do that, so if I asked you now, right, so what is it that you need? Now, let me define need. When I say need, I'm not necessarily talking about, I need this to help me to do this. I'm not talking about that sort of need. The kind of need that I'm talking about, I'll frame it in this way, right? So your purpose is about uplifting the next generation. By the way, there's a guy who works, Dwi, who works, he's second in charge at Tibu Benang, Desa. Incredible guy. He reminds me of you, and he has the same vision. And we're working on a festival for Tibu Benang, the whole area before all this COVID stuff started. Incredible guy. I've got to connect you to because you're different sides of the same coin. Immense guys. Love him. Okay, so let's get back to the question. So through that filter of uplifting the next generation, is there anything that we can do? Now, we can be foreigners. We can be local. Is there anything we can be foreign investors, for example? So what is it that you need from that perspective to support your vision?
Very good question. Actually, we have a couple of projects to answer that. So our first project is we are looking to build orphanage. So we get land donation from one of my mother's friend. It can be donation or they just let us use this land for whatever period of time with under our foundation. So with this donated land, we would like to build. It's a 13 acre. How much is it in English?
That's okay.
1,300 meters, right?
Yeah.
So 13 acre land, piece of land, and we are looking to build orphanage / co-working / co-living / learning center. And these people or these, let's say, kids or teenagers who, let's say, will come to this space later on, they can stay at our space because we will have shelter for them. So the co-living part. And these orphans or street kids or underprivileged youth, they will be in our orphanage, and they will not go to public school or private school. They will only do homeschooling. And our mission is by the age of 18, they will be employable at least by knowing English and IT related skills. So either like digital skills that can basically be their foundation to work on something or be hired by a company, or at least they can speak English to open the doors of their future, basically. So that's why to be able to be ready by the age of 18 to be employable or even to be entrepreneur, they better to do homeschooling. So we need people, foreigners, locals, whoever want to contribute to be like a volunteering teacher or mentor. And every 3 years we would like to get them into like equivalent certification of high school. So if they wanna continue to university, they can, but they don't have to go to public school. So they do homeschooling, but if they wanna get SMA or high school certificate, they can go for like we call it packet C or C package, which is like equivalent diploma of high school. With this diploma or certificate, you can continue to higher education or university. So that's all what we need from the bureaucracy administrative perspective. But what we need is to develop their mentality, to develop their work ethic, to develop who they are as a person inside. And we need whoever wants to contribute in this, we welcome them. If you want to invest in our incubator, okay, let's call this incubator, right? If you want to invest in our incubator, we welcome you. Because at the end of the day, all these people that we are trying to educate can one day work for your company, can one day help you in certain ways, business and life. And we are uplifting people's life. So if you do good thing, the good karma will come to your life anyway. So right, so we welcome. We are looking for now architect that can help us to design the building on this 13-acre land. We are looking for mentors in different fields. As I mentioned, our focus now is mostly in IT, but we are open for agriculture too. So we would like to give them hard skill in IT and agriculture, so they can choose, because these two skills they can use to earn money, to make a living, to build stuff, right? And at least they have to be able to speak English. So which means we have to keep the environment in this orphanage to be international. Because if you learn English but you never practice, yes, that's why we call it co-living. Because for example, if you're foreigner and you want to volunteer in our orphanage, we have a space to accommodate you to co-live with them. Then they can co-live with you and they can co-work with you as well.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Mamma mia. God, I gotta ask, how old are you? Why you?
20. I was born 1992 August. 28.
Come on, in his 20s. Oh my God. He's speaking like sitting next to you and talking to you. It's like I feel like I'm speaking to like a 60-year-old. Not that you look 60, right? But all of your life experience, the way that you've integrated the masculine and the feminine. You have a logical side, yet you have a creative side, right? The way that I feel your mum's energy in you, right? The way that you have an answer to every question that I've asked you, but do you answer it with respect and deference and a level of just karmic beauty that is ridiculously good. Like, wow, I'm kind of like, whoa, oh yeah, great. So look, so I want to go back to your dad for a second. He keeps popping up in my head, right? So if there was one trait, there can be more, that you're super proud of, that you got, or you think that you received from your dad, what would it be?
I think my dad is his spiritual person. I mean, if you want to frame it in different ways, he's actually quite religious. So for some people, spirituality doesn't mean being religious, right? But for me, in certain level, yes. So my father is like, he always talks about God. He always talks about you have to follow God's way. You have to remember God in every single thing you do. Either you can translate this as a spiritual advice or a religious advice. I leave it up to you. But to me, this is what I learned from, what I'm most proud of from my dad. And my dad always gives me advice on, before you do something, remember God is watching you. Something like that, which keep me like, do I need to take this what I actually don't belong to me? When I have a thought about like doing corruption or stuff like that, I start thinking, oh, God is watching me. You know what I mean? So because of this advice and education from my dad, this is the positive side that I learned from my dad, actually.
Because like thank you. We're like a sum total of our parents, right? And like the other question that jumps in here, which I see something, feel something too, like, do you feel like your life is predestined, or it's a life that you created yourself?
I believe in both. For example, we cannot choose to which family we were born, right? We cannot choose, do I want to be white? Do I want to be black? Do I want to be Asian? Do I want to be Indonesian?
Michael Jordan, please.
So we cannot choose this stuff, right? So that's why I believe in predestined. We call it predestined.
Yeah, predestined. Yeah.
But I also believe in, as what you said on the second option, you create your own life. That's why I try to change my mentality. Instead of complaining, oh, why I was born in this way, in this family, in this country, with this skin tone, blah, 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 with this physical condition, blah, blah, blah. I should change that. into what can I do to make my life better. What can I do to make other people's life better? What can I do to change the situation that I'm facing in front of me? You know, so if we live in that, I mean, like personally speaking, if we have that philosophy in life, I think life will feel more fulfilling, more enjoyable, more you don't have burden basically. I mean, of course in life you always have burden, but when you live with your purpose, with your vision in life, you get up in the morning, you know what to do.
Got it. Got it. So now we're going to come to questions in about 1 minute, right? No, I'm not going to say 1 minute because then you're going to get Rob. It's been a minute. So one more question and I'll come to your questions. There you go. So one thing which I've adopted recently, okay, is the power of the question is what drives us. The quality of the question, you get a quality answer. The opposite, you get the opposite, right? And, you know, question is really powerful because the way that our mind can work is if I make a statement, I am a millionaire, I am a billionaire, there's space based upon my conditioning and programming for a voice to come up and say, yeah, you are, or no, you're not. Look at your bank balance. You haven't got $1 billion in your bank. You're kidding, right? So it can engage this confrontational dynamic. But when you ask a question, it bypasses the confrontational part and sets your conscious and subconscious mind onto a pattern of what is the answer. I've got to get the answer. What is the answer? Drawing to us opportunities and experiences to experience that answer. So for example, with this show, SpeakuP Monday, and me personally, right, my mission question is this, right? So how can I directly or indirectly positively impact the lives of 1 billion people plus by 2070 whilst having fun and creating wealth for me, foundation I'm building, and others along the way, right? So that to me is a very powerful question, and I find that when I do that, my mind goes into how can I do it, how can I do it, how can I do it, how can I do it? And the people that I've been meeting of late are people with huge networks, people who are up to things in life which are on a monumental scale. They're on a global scale. They have a world view that is kind of similar to mine and yours, right? Which is about positively impact. So if there was a question, if that feels drops into your container, what would your question be?
Okay. It's a tough question, but I would say, what drives you in life? Because that will define your plan in life. What sort of things that you are going to plan to make your life better, to achieve your goal, to achieve what you dream of, to make your life happy, to make your life feel fulfilled. So what drives you in life, right? So for me, if I got asked that question, what drives me in life? My purpose. Once I found my purpose, that is my drive in life. That is the reason why I get up in the morning. I know what to do exactly to be able to go to that path with different strategy, short term, mid term, long term. Maybe this is the goal, but you have to go like this. But eventually you will reach this goal. You know what I mean? So I think if you understand what drives you in life, but if you haven't found it, it's fine.
And hence the power of the question, right?
Yes.
So if you don't know what it is and you say, well, what actually drives my life is creating that space, that dynamic, elastic feedback loop, which is like, and where your reality and your dream come together, right? So it's activating, that part of you, that unseen, but always knowing part of you to find the answer for you, right?
Yeah. I think one of the ways for any one of us to be able to find what drives us is just by of course, contemplation, reflecting on your life purpose, life goal, and your dream, right? What makes you happy, and all those stuff. All those stuff I agree, but in order to find what is clickable with you, just try what is in front of you that you feel that I care about this cause. So find a cause that you care about. Because, for example, you care about children. Maybe volunteer in children's foundation, or go to school that has a lot of children. Maybe what you care about is business. Then, for example, find an internship opportunity that gives you a chance to learn about business world. Maybe you care about politics. Then maybe be active in a political party, or joining a certain youth movement or activism, or be a friend with politician or with the government, and listen from them. So this is what I have been doing. I have been doing a lot of stuff. People keep saying to me that you never focus, but actually the way I find focus is after I try many things. Then I will eventually find my true call. Because if I haven't done, I think I like A, but then I haven't done B, C, D, and I always focus on A all the time for the rest of my life, then when I'm 70 years old, I would feel regret. I didn't try the B. I didn't try the C. But I actually, deep inside my heart, I care about those causes. I care about those topics. I care about those people who are in those area, or in those thing, right? I care about those contexts, those things that I would like to change for a better. But I didn't try. I didn't know what if. Always this what if, right? So I think what if can be turned to be what if I try, instead of you live your life later when you are 70 years old. What if I have tried before?
Thank you, my brother. We're not done yet, but thank you so much. Far out. One most complete people I've ever met. Wow. All right, questions. Anyone got any questions? Yeah, so do we have a mic, Itchy? If not, it's okay. We can work it out another way. All good. So, Ilsa, just call it out, and then I'll repeat the question.
Everything Rob is feeling about hearing this story. So thumbs up for all your work. And I personally love the foundation and the orphanage plans. We donate for an orphanage in Uganda and Africa, and also one in Bali. So that's something we're passionate about ourselves as well. So I would love to hear a bit more about that, because you told there's a land, and you're looking for investors.
Yes.
And volunteers.
Yes.
Are you looking for, let's say, the volunteers? Are you looking for long-term people that will be there, and full-time or part-time or short-term? Or can you tell a bit more about that?
Okay. So
All right. So we'll repeat the question, or you can. The question was around the project that you're working on, which may need foreign investment or some type of help, some type of support, and the question was if you could go into a little bit more detail about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, this is like not small project. Yeah. So it takes time, and at least now we secure the land. Let's say like that. But our homework is from which resources, or from which pipeline or network that we can get or generate from when it comes to financing the building, when it comes to financing the operation, when it comes to giving these kids or teenagers or the underprivileged youth allowance, pocket money, when it comes to recruiting teachers. This is like whole different story, so many things in the process, right? I think I would like to partner up not only with individual, but also with a well-established organization. For example, if you know any organization that can help us to form the syllabus, curriculum, and that can connect us with a huge network of philanthropists that can connect us with donors. That can be a very big help for us, right? And in return, I always try to develop win-win situation. Right? So I really appreciate people who give their support in any way they can. So in return, for example, I'll just give you a scenario. Let's say these donors or investors or philanthropists donate us in certain amount. In return, I'm willing to be their legal consultant for free. For example, to help their business expansion in Indonesia. In return, the way we pay back, the way we say thank you. For example, so you will never lose by giving to us, because me and my team, we are, I would say, we consist of different expertise of people. We know different stuff. We are good at technical, at legal, at management, at operation, at the local government and things like that. We have all this network behind us, but we need, like, for example, financial support. So how can we do trade on this? So and also all these kids that they help, one day maybe when they finish their education process with us, they may end up working for one of your business or company, and you give them job and you get talents in return. So it's like a win-win situation that I'm trying to develop, is like this kind of scenario. And also we are open for any kind of partnership, even if it's small. There is no small help to me, but I wouldn't say small, so maybe I should revise my word. Any kind of help, any kind of partnership, or any individual who wants to contribute, you're welcome. We can have a talk, and we can specifically talk about this after this session. I can tell you the whole thing. Like I have a plan A, plan B, plan C. As I mentioned, our goal is here, but sometimes we have to go here, you know.
And then how can and by the way, Bella, if you could take some photos, that would be great. Bella, take some photos, that would be great. So how can people contact you? What's the best way for people to reach? Maybe they're watching from YouTube or Instagram, or, you know, so how can they contact you?
Okay, I have my personal website, wahyu.co, wahyu.co, not .com, yeah, .co, wahyu.co, and you can email me at wahyu, wahyu at diyacademy.org. So wahyu at diyacademy.org. And if you are all in social media, you can just type at wahyu.taa. It's my Instagram, or my Facebook, facebook.com/wahyu.taufiq, my name, wahyu.taufiq.
Yeah. And we'll have it on SpeakuP Monday, SpeakuP Monday group on Facebook, the YouTube channel, and some personal Instagram. It will all be there as well. Now we've got some more questions. I think, Kedar, I'm looking at you, mate. Here's the best questions, Kedar. No pressure. All right. Actually, just grab that and then give it back.
Yeah. So I heard your talk, like really very good and inspirational. I think the Indonesian youth has a lot to learn from your talk, and I hope they're all watching. And for me, what I have observed, I picked up some key points. Like you have mentioned that when you were a kid, your mother had a big setback in business because of Bali bombing, and then when you were a youth, you personally had setbacks in business. So I want to learn, like, what were your learnings, and then how did you come out of it, and learnings, and what would you advise to the youth of Indonesia when who are getting into business? Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first question, and then I have two more.
All right. So we'll go with question number one first.
Okay. Do you want to repeat the question, or I directly answer?
No, because he was talking into the microphone.
Okay.
So all these guys would have heard it. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, find people. This is my advice to youth. Yeah. I don't know if you consider yourself as a youth, but I'm joking. My advice is find a figure, somebody that inspires you, and learn from this person. That's why I always said that uh, I'm happy to say I have a mentors, right? So I have some inspirational figures that inspired me that one day I want to be like them in different ways. We don't have to be like them completely, like copy paste completely, but there is like a certain value that you like from them and you want to be like them, and one day you want to achieve that, you know. That value can be in level of business, in level of life relationship. You divine that, you find that, right? And once once you find that person, I like this person, how can I contact this person directly, or if this person is too famous and unreachable, how can I find people like them? Through which organization? So find the organization. For example, I like international affairs, I like international political relations or political affairs. And for example, one of the organization that inspires me is World Economic Forum, where this is one of the organization that can make business leaders and state leaders sit together to discuss some important global matters, right? So how can I be in this part of ecosystem? Then I'm being part of Global Shaper, because I care about political issue, I care about leadership in my country. I think first you need to find what cause that you care the most, right? For example, I care about changing this nation, this country, changing the leadership, getting what you call it, erasing the corruption, or at least reducing the corruption if we cannot erase it completely. I think in any country there is always corruption, but
every country.
in certain level. So I'm gonna be like completely naive if I say that there is a country that has clean record, no corruption. No, always there's corruption, but in different level, in different form. So that's why I care about politics, I care about leadership, I care about my country. So this is the cause that I care about. And how can I achieve this to contribute to help and change the situation to be better? I need to learn from the expert, right? So I need to find organization or friends or activities that can teach me how to be better at this context, at this topic, Yeah, so that's number one. Number two, after finding mentor and organization that you are aspire to be or that you like to be involved in, after you find your cause first that you care about, number two is execution. Always execute the ideas that you think it's worth executing, because people now find ideas easily on YouTube, on Google. Ideas now are worthless, I'm sorry to say, but ideas now are worthless. You can have the most innovative, not yet invented idea, but if you never execute it, if you never work on it, if you never try it to make it happen, and it's just idea, it will die in your graveyard. So execution is everything. Like if you have this great idea, execute. And nobody can achieve anything great alone. So find your team, find your herd, meet people that share the same vision and values with you, and work with them, make them your team. So that's the key. You cannot work on great things, or you cannot make great things alone. You have to team up with the right people that share the same values and the same purpose, and that have the ambition that you have. It can be different level, but you have to find your herd first, your community first, and work with them as a team.
You said in 2017 you went bankrupt.
Yeah, I had a big debt.
So what was the learning from that, and then how did you come out of it?
Yeah, as I told you that two people that I do not want to deal with is lawyer and police, right? The type of people that I do not want to deal with. These three people. So my learning when I started business 2017, I didn't make like everything black everything on black and white, like meaning everything should be written on the paper, make it legal, and I just took it easily. Out of ignorance, right? I trust my friend or my business partner way back then. I trust the process. It's good that you have trust in business. You cannot have trust issue. You have to trust, right? Because otherwise things will not move forward. But you have to minimize the conflict. You have to minimize the failure. You have to minimize the unexpected outcome by putting everything that you agree on with your partners, your stakeholders, your investors on the paper. That's number one. Number two, what I learned is that persistence matter. It sounds like classic, like it's like if you watch any motivational video, people will always say never give up, have persistence. But it's true. It's true, because if I do not have persistence, if I give up, maybe I would be in jail because I couldn't pay my debt, right? Maybe I would end up committing suicide, God forbid. But I don't like, I don't like to lose hope, but I hope that I wouldn't never be in the position of having this suicidal thought because of very heavy depression. But yeah, having that mentality of never give up, and having that mentality of being persistent, it helps you a lot. And you need to surround yourself with positive people, leave negative people, leave people that causes you, leave people that make you live in pessimistic life. Leave the drama, just work on essential things, work on more on the core of your work, and surround yourself with positive people, and surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. If I get into a classroom and I'm the smartest person, I may be in the wrong place. That's my personal philosophy. If I'm in the room and I'm the stupidest, the most stupid person in the room, or let's say the most less knowledgeable in that room, then okay, I think I'm in the right place.
Now, Ichi and Bella, just over there. So just one thing. I just want to thank, we're not done yet, just want to thank Tropical Nomad, Ichi and Bella here at Tropical Nomad, which are doing all of the tech behind the scenes. And if it wasn't for them, this wouldn't happen, right? And we've come so far compared to how we were doing things a year and a half ago. It's mind blowing. Now on that note, and I shouldn't do this on air, but I'm going to. Bella, can you check the guy who's supposed to do a latte a while ago? A Tropical Nomad latte. We need one of the Tropical Nomad lattes with a biscuit. They're the best coffee here, by the way. Tropical Nomad. The lattes are incredible. You heard it from me. All right, we're going to go to the third question from you, Kada.
So, if you're okay, you could share with us, how did you come out of it? No?
Come out from
that problem of
my business 2017.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, it's a long story, but I try to make it shorter.
Just the points which you think are valid, the standout.
Okay. First of all, never run away from responsibility. If I could run away, meaning I could just disappear, because there is no black and white, right? There is no, even we didn't set up company, so it was just based on trust and no black and white contract or whatsoever, check written, right? Because that's what matters the most. The check, we need the check, we need the money, we need the cash to run the business, but no check written. And my friend had to go to Guangzhou back, right? So I needed to go. My flight is like 1 day later, so I slept at the airport. I slept at the airport in Hong Kong. I had no money, and I went to Singapore, and I also stayed at the airport in the first day. Then I Googled hostel for entrepreneurs, and I found what it used to be called Tribe Theory, now Draper Startup House. So we have the same target market, but the difference is they have money, I didn't, right? They have venture capital backed business, I didn't, right? So I tried to just stay there for one night, and I met one of the interns who happened to be Indonesian, and he connected me to the founder, and boom, yeah, the rest is history.
Amazing, amazing. Now, okay, so we're going to get close to winding this up. What I'd like to leave you with is a comment, something that maybe you haven't said or that you'd like to say. Perhaps through the context of, because what this series is about. Destination Indonesia Series, right? And again, we're getting back to the reason why many of us who are here today and who are watching it in the different various mediums that we have going on, we love Bali, right? We love Indonesia.
Yeah.
And, we don't necessarily listen to mainstream media. We prefer to go by the case studies of the people, because people inspire people, right? So maybe through that container, to maybe give us some parting words of wisdom, and I'll wrap up with there first, and then I'll come to you who you'll finish it up for us. But before I get there, I just want to acknowledge you. You are phenomenal, really. As I said earlier on before, you've got to be one of the most complete people that I've met. And he's 28 years of age. I'm like 51 and I'm still figuring it out. I love it. It's so good. And I love what you stand for. I love your generosity. I love the fact that you're all for and feel so strongly about this great nation of Indonesia, and you've taken it on board, not to single-handedly, but to collectively, collaboratively, take it in a direction that Nadim is doing, as education minister. And that to me is the most powerful thing we can do, is to educate the next generation, and that's exactly what you're doing. So I'm so on board and so aligned with what you stand for and what you're looking to do. So I love that. For those of you next week, so we're here at Tropical Nomad every week, Monday, it is Monday, that's right, 7 o'clock, come and see us. So remember, this is the Destination Indonesia series, and you know what it's about because I've told you twice. So next week will be, I think it's going to be Yana, incredible guy, local guy who created a project, right, which is about plastic for rice. It's an exchange program. Yeah, so I believe it's going to be Yana next week, a phenomenal human being who I hardly know. And that's what this is always about as well. It's about picking up on the energy of the person and just realizing, you know what, I feel something really powerful here. I want to get to know them, and at the same time allow other people to get to know them too, right? And that's phenomenal. So thank you for everybody who's here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for those who are watching on the various medias that we've got going on. Please share this, right? So sharing is caring, and remember, people like this inspire all of us, and that's what this is really all about. But we do it by sharing. This is a grassroots thing we've got going on here, right? In the future we'll be expanding it in other directions, larger directions, because again, 1 billion people we want to positively impact, directly or indirectly, right? So we're going to be scaling it, but as it stands right now, it's a grassroots initiative. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tropical Nomad, to Itchy and Bella, who are supporting us big time with the tech, and we're making bigger strides every week, which I absolutely love. So thank you so much to the guys there. And look, Brother Wahyu, over to you, my brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you so much for inviting me. Last statement, I would close it with, you have to find a reason why you get up in the morning, and in order to find that, you have to live and work on a meaningful purpose that you can achieve in your life. I think your life will be more colorful, more meaningful, and you will avoid this anxiety and depression by knowing your purpose in life. And if you haven't found one, just find the causes around you that you care about, the topics, the good things that you want to do that you care about, that inspire you. Work on that. Contribute to that topic. Contribute to the to the context, to the causes, to what you can do to solve the problems, and that's the real happiness.
Thank you, guys. Round of applause, guys, for Wahyu. Man, awesome.